Good morning, my nerd friends, and today I have something a little bit exciting. Some HifiMan HE6se V2. With that many letters and numbers, these must be amazing. These are not available in the UK. I think it's a US only thing. So I had to bribe some people at HifiMan to get me a pair of those. Yeah, they look really interesting. I've seen some pictures of the driver through the grill, and I'm like, what's going on there? So I'm really excited to get these open and then maybe pull them apart a little bit and have a look at the driver inside and see what ting up guan. And if you're interested in that, obviously stick around. We're gonna do that. We're gonna unbox them, see what you get. But that's boring. And then we'll open them up and see the driver inside. Ooh, the worky pieces. Obviously, I don't know what I'm going to do with them then. We'll see if we can mod them. I think a few people have asked if we could develop a mod because the HifiMan HE6se mods everyone loves. I think almost entirely positive feedback about those, so that is well done. And obviously the head strap will fit the HE6 and the HE400, but yeah, we might have a look at the tuning. Like, they're already supposed to be very, very good, and they're quite expensive. And what I've learnt from modifying the XS is the level of tuning you have to do is much higher to kind of make it all good. You know, if you take an okay pair of headphones and turn them into a great pair of headphones, everyone's going to love that. Whereas if you take an already great pair of headphones and try and make them a better pair of headphones, you're going to upset some people. Trying to make every aspect of them better without making anything worse is really tricky. And speaking of which, with the HifiMan HE400XS grill mods are done, I think. We've still got to send them out to testers. So much tuning went into these. Developed some new techniques which I don't think anyone's used at all on planers. Yeah, some new tuning techniques there, because initially we tuned them and then I discovered I created some problems whereby with the sound staging certain instruments were like, the tuning was good, but some instruments sounded like they were coming from just behind your ears, like just a few centimeters behind the ears. And that was really off-putting, so I had to do some other. I basically found that I'd accidentally created an acoustic lens in there, which was making it sound like it was coming from somewhere else. I had to make the lens less efficient, and yes. Anyway, new tuning techniques, but the tuning is good. I think it's personally, it's tuned for me. I've taken, which is an okay pair of headphones, inoffensive, and made them more more detail accuracy, detail retrieval. Like the bass detail is pretty spectacular now with these new mods. Like, you can, like, if you're listening to an upright bass, you can hear those strings wobbling backwards and forwards rather than just a general ooh. You can hear the wobbly wibbly texture of the strings moving around and stuff, so I'm pleased with that. I am going to send these out to testers because obviously I am too close to this problem. Yeah, and everyone here, I pay their wages, so they're a little bit biased into thinking that what I think is cool is also cool. But yeah, these are these are going out to testers. A load of people have signed up to be testers, but as is often the case with the universe being a dick sometimes, I loaded up both our printers with as many of these as they would print. Stuck a 24-hour print on, which was going to print off, I don't know, what was it, like 6 sets at a time, so like 2 lots of 6, that's enough to send out to all the testers. Left it on overnight, stayed with it for a couple of hours, made sure it was all printing nicely, left it overnight, came back in the morning, both printers had basically destroyed themselves. As is sometimes the way with both in different ways. We've got a Voron 2.4, which is very fast, and it basically just eaten through one of the cables where it was going backwards and forwards. It had worn against a screw and destroyed the wiring harness, which is going to be a nightmare to fix. And the other one just jammed for some reason, like heat creep or something like that, and then filament came out where it should not have done, and that will need stripping down and rebuilding. So over the next couple of days I'm going to have to rebuild the 3D printers, then be a little bit careful, because whenever you just rebuild it, you're like, is it going to work okay? And then I can print these out. So hopefully within a week we'll have these going out to testers. Then I can get some feedback on these, see what other human beings think about them. I think they're pretty amazing. But anyway, enough waffle about the old Edition XS project, which has been my life for the past few months. And on to the HE6. Let's do a traditional kind of unboxing type thing. Let's get this badger out. And welcome to Unboxing with Jason. This, Yeah, I shouldn't have bought this. We didn't have the budget to buy these, but I really want to see what they look like inside, and I can probably eBay them off afterwards or something. Speaking of which, we now have a Patreon. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but if you fancy chipping in any money so I can buy some more cool things and pull them apart and stuff, work on projects that'll blatantly lose loads of money, like the the Edition XSs. I've spent so much time on that, there's absolutely no way we'll ever make a profit. Yeah, feel free to join our Patreon. We've only just started. We don't really know what we're doing. I think we've only got one Patreon member at the moment, so it'd be good if that number increased. Speaking of which, I'll be giving that person a shout out at the end after I've figured out how to look it up on the computer. But yeah, we've got a Patreon. What we're planning on doing over the next couple of weeks is setting some stuff up. I was thinking maybe we could have an STL repository, so stuff that I've designed. You can download the STLs and have a play with them if you're a 3D printy type. Because a lot of it we don't even bother releasing, just because it's a fun project and then it goes away. But yeah, so we might stick some STLs on there so you can download beta versions of stuff that I'm working on and stuff, so that might be interesting. But we will also be occasionally auctioning off prototypes, stuff like that, getting rid of stuff like this, or I've just ordered them in to fiddle with, and afterwards we don't really need them, and you'll get first dibs on anything, and you'll get them cheap because we just want to get rid of them normally, get them off to a good home. So yeah, so we've got a few bits and bobs that we're planning on getting off to our Patreon. What's it? So this pair has already been opened. I saw the tape had been done, and then the tape on the box had been done as well. Now, as I said, I did have to bribe HifiMan to get these, and they gave them a bit cheaper because I will be pulling them apart. So it might be a return or something like that. I don't know, but I got them for a good price. Okay, so that's all cutched up in there. Let's get these out. What kind of cable yet? Ooh, look at this. It's got a balanced cable with it. Yeah, these are nice. This is the nicest cable I've seen. This is nicer than the Aria Organic cable. So we've got quite a soft latex covered cable. It's an interesting design. Yeah, so you've got an outer latex tube, a bit like on the Grados, with inner wires. It looks like they've used semi-legit jacks. So it's a Nutric 6.3 meter. These look like Nutric, but they're not. They're kind of Nutric copy XLRs. But yeah, so you get a 4-pin XLR balanced as standard with these by the look of it, and a little rubber cable. What's it? Oh, I didn't expect the actual unboxing to be interesting, but the cable, she's good. Let's put that away. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's an interesting design. Oh, and here we have the actual HE6se. Now then, the finish on these is much nicer. They've got a lacquer over them, so it's much nicer than the HE6se. So these have been painted and lacquered by the look of it. You can see what they call, I think it's like a screen door effect, doesn't it? I can't remember, but yeah, the edges, the clear coat goes a bit thicker, so you end up with a lump at the edges of stuff. So it looks like they've got a conformal coating, a spray sprayed over them to give that smooth finish. Yeah, nice. You know, I do a lot of paintwork on headphones, so I know. And these, it's nice. It's a nice job. It's a nice job on these. So I think, to be fair, I should have a quick listen and see what they're all about. So I've got the XSs here, so we can probably compare the two. I don't know what the price of these are, but I think they're kind of similar. Let's have a listen. Yeah, interesting. So these are much more difficult to drive. I had to crank the volume up quite a lot on the HE6se. Yeah, they definitely need a lot more oomph to power them than the Edition XSs. The mids seemed a bit more forwards on these, so yeah, the vocals, stuff like that, are more, I don't know, they're nice and smoothed off. It's not too shouty and stuff, but it's just a bit more forwards with the treble and bass rolled off a bit. Like the bass is a little bit muffled on these, you know, it kind of just disappears into the background. The vocals really really come through compared to the Edition XS as standard, and I suspect with our modified ones they're even more extreme just because you've got more detail in the treble and the bass. Yeah, so it's quite a smooth kind of relaxing sound from these. They're quite warm. But let's have a look. Yeah, I'm sure. But yes, I'm sure there are lots of other reviewers who will review these much better. I might just take a little frequency plot and we'll compare the two, and just so I can kind of see what I was listening to. Yeah, our measuring rig is very cheap and not brilliant, but it just lets me, I've measured lots of headphones on it. I know I know kind of what I'm looking at with this rig. Yeah, so we'll just get this up. So it's just raw, just kind of raw data. But it'd be interesting to see how many decibels difference those are versus the others, because as I said, yeah, they need a lot more juice. Yes, so interesting. So the HE6 is pretty flat, pretty flat, and as you may know, especially with headphones we don't like. I don't know, flat sound isn't always the most pleasing sound. You normally want a little bit, like the Harman curve, you have a little bit of a hump at the top where all the upper mids and trebles are, and then maybe a little bit of elevation at the bass, which this has got. So the bass is very good. Bass is very flat. Let's try it down to 10 hertz. Let's have a look. Yeah, so completely flat down to 10 hertz. So bass, very flat, probably very accurate. You have got a slight, around the sort of 500 to 900 hertz, you've got a slight hump, which is what's bringing those mids forwards. As I said, I think the mids are a little bit forward, so I would probably flatten that up and bring up the treble if I was tuning these. But it's horses for courses. If you like this sound, this is it. And again, the treble and stuff, you've got no big hump or peaks in the treble really. Yeah, so the treble is kind of rolled off. So these would not be fatiguing. You could listen to these for hours, just disappear into the music. Once you get used to the sound signature, that won't be a problem. Your mind will adjust. The accuracy of the sound should be pretty good. What's the distortion like? So pretty low distortion, especially down in the bass and the mids, and you've got a bit of a peak in the distortion, about 4 and a bit K. Which is interesting. Doesn't really show up in the frequency plot, but yeah, you've got a bit of harmonic distortion at about 4 or 5K, which could maybe be taken out with a bit of damping here and there. I don't know, it's not something I've played with. So this is interesting, and it's making me think maybe I shouldn't be tuning these. I don't know, because I'm probably going to just ruin these. If you love these at the moment, I'm going to probably ruin them by adding a bit more treble. So let's compare that with the Edition XS. So this is 13 decibels louder at the same volume, which is a lot. Yeah, so definitely if you've got the HE6, you're going to need an amp. You're not going to get away with running these off a phone or something like that. You're going to need some kind of little DAC amp combo, or yeah, some kind of headphone amplifier. It's going to be not just a little dongle off a thing. Maybe something like that Go Bar that I got sent to test. That should be able to power them. That's got quite a lot of juice. But yeah, you're going to need some kind of amplifier. So let's do a quick measurement on these. But yeah, I think both of these are in the same kind of price range, but obviously you're appealing to different markets. And sorry, have to be quiet while I was doing the measurement, otherwise it'll pick up my voice. Okay, so yeah, so the Edition XS, you can see you've got more of kind of a hump in the treble up there, around, what is that, 8, nearly 9K. So they've got a similar kind of sound signature, but a bit more treble on the Edition XS. Maybe a little bit more in the bass. You've got a couple of decibels that are a little bit higher, but it rolls off a bit quicker. On the HE6 doesn't roll off; it just keeps on trucking. Whereas if I look at the 10 hertz on this, yeah, so it starts off higher and then but it doesn't dip down below the HE6 until you get to just over 20 hertz. So, but yeah, these are matched up at 300 hertz, so it depends where you match it on the graph. But yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, more treble from those, and 13 decibels or whatever I said difference in the old in the volume. So that is quite interesting. And then well I've got these badges here. We might as well stick these on. Now these might be even more. Well, these will be more treble-tacular because I've tried to add in some of those higher frequencies that the Aria's got. That's been my benchmark really for these ones. So on the modded XS, as you can see, we've got higher peak in the treble at about kind of, what is that, sort of between 8 and 9k. We've also got some additional peaks up above that, around sort of 12 to 16k, which gives that kind of airiness. We tried to match them up vaguely with where the Aria frequencies were, just to get it closer to that. And we've also added a little bit more in the sub bass, so you get maybe extra half a decibel or so down at 30 hertz, which helps bring out some of those very, very low notes. So this is probably slightly more V-tuned than the Edition XS, and then the HE6 very flat across the what's it. So yeah, so it's interesting. But anyway, let's just see if we can get these open and have a look at that interesting looking driver inside. But yeah, look at that. Isn't that interesting? So yeah, it's some kind of weird gold. See if I can get some close-up shots of that. But yes. Does anyone have any more information on this driver? Why does it look so strange? I can see you've probably got the neodymium magnets, but the diaphragm in there looks very different from the other HifiMan ones that I've seen. This looks like it's got some kind of gold foil over it. It's absolutely fascinating. Yeah, so it's constructed in a very different way, and I don't know. What? Educate me. Send me links. Does anyone know anything about this driver and what makes it special and why it looked weird? What's the deal with this? Let's have a look at the other side. So yeah, the other side again, you've got magnets running under this metal grill, which have got shaped holes on, and then some kind of gold looking bad boy inside, some kind of gold membrane. Yeah, interesting. And I can see some features in the gold. So yeah, so what's that? What's going on with that? Like, I understand the normal ones, it's kind of a thin plastic with an aluminium trace or something like that, which is generating the magnetic field, but this genuinely looks like it's got gold foil or something in there, which is really interesting, because obviously gold isn't that conductive and it's quite heavy, but obviously gold foil will be very thin, so it wouldn't weigh very much. But I would have thought aluminium foil is obviously going to be thinner. The resistance of gold is higher than a lot higher than copper or silver, so if it is gold, that could be why it needs more juice, because it's going to have a higher I don't know. I just don't know. That's fascinating. So yes, I'm going to have to do some research and find out on this. But if any of you guys know anything about this driver, this fascinating looking thing, let me know, because yeah, I want to know. I want to know why it is the way it is and how it works and all that kind of stuff. So yes, I would be grateful if anyone already knows this or has any resources. But yeah, I'm going to try and do a bit of research. So anyway, yeah, HE6, interesting. I might try and... because some people have put the HE400SE mod in the HE6 and say it does a similar thing where it increases the sub bass a bit and smooths out some of the lumps and bumps. But it wasn't designed for this driver and it is not optimized for this driver. It just happens that because the housing's the same shape, it fits in there and it does most of the same stuff with the airflow, but it could definitely be optimized further, because the magnets on the HE400 go Koryo Yonde, and the magnets on this one uppy downy. So, and probably have different spacing. So the fins on the HE400 is the mod that we've got. The fins are supposed to go over the magnets, so it doesn't restrict the airflow as much. So you're going to get more restricted airflow by adding that mod into the HE6. Whereas if we optimized it so it was in the opposite direction and maybe messed with the profile a little bit, it would fit this. So there might possibly be an easy mod. I don't know. I haven't tried it, but I might just be able to rotate the orientation of the HE400 mod and see if that does anything. I'll have to. It's going to be a lot of work. It's always a lot of work, but you never know. I might be really lucky. The spacing on the magnets, everything might be exactly the same, and just by fluke and happenstance, the two work. But yeah. Oh yeah, definitely neodymium magnets on that. You can feel how strong the pull is on that. Whereas on the HE400, it's just normal rare earth magnets, or I don't know, whatever the normal magnets are, not neodymium. So yeah, so I've seen grill mods are popular on these because obviously you've got not very open grill and a lot of mesh on there, so a more open grill would probably help with the airflow on that and stop reflections going back through because you've not got much to bounce off. Yeah, so I've seen lots of people selling grills, but yes, we might be able to do something with that in the future. But I need to get these excesses out to testers, see if I've ruined them or not, because obviously on the graph it looks a little bit treble heavy, and that might just be, you know, because I'm a lover of Bear Dynamics and stuff, and they tend to have a little bit of a peak in the treble, and that's kind of what I've got on there. But also the Aria Organics did have that peak in the treble and the peak up above, so I've kind of matched the peaks with the Aria Organic and messed with the sound staging and stuff. So it will be interesting to see what people think of those. And yes, I can't wait, but it's going to be a couple of weeks because I've got to fix the 3D printers, print those out, send them off to people, let people have a proper listen, and then get back to me with their thoughts. So that was interesting. Yes, so HE6, fascinating looking driver. I want to know more. What ting up Guan? Do you guys know? Stick it in the comments. Bloody blah. And yeah, let me know if you know anything about this, and like and subscribe if you are also enjoying this kind of thing. Like and subscribe, and also chip in some money for the Patreon. We got some ideas for that. I was thinking, obviously, we're going to try and stick our STLs up in there, but I was thinking the other thing that might be fun, well, James suggested it, is if we take the money that's in the pot from the Patreon every month or two and spend that on a pair of headphones, and then see what we can do with them, which will be fun because the first, like at the moment, I think we've got £3. I think one £3 membership. So £3 is gonna buy us some very interesting headphones. It's gonna be like, what? How is it even possible to make something this cheap? And then hopefully we'll move on to some £10, £20 headphones, which will be good. So yes, chip in some money. Let's have some fun. And yeah, obviously I will listen to your suggestions on there. And anyway, enough waffle. Subscribe. Do the nice things. Go.